Good evening. I'd like to call this meeting to order on January 15th, 2025. May we have the Pledge of Allegiance, Mayor Porco? Thank you, Mayor Porco. May we have the roll call, please?
Mr. Bacon. Here. Mr. Baoki. Present. Mr. DeCosta. Present. Mr. Erbaldinger. Present. Mr. Lawrence.
Present.
President Martin.
Present.
Mayor Porco. Here. Present, ma'am.
Thank you. At this time, we'd like to have Mayor Porco present the Citizen of the Year Award to Mark Hybog. Could you please come up, Mark?
And that's how hard or rope you into helping solve the problem. That's my problem. I have no idea what it is. I need to.
You can move.
You know what? You guys stand over here with four stills in the background.
Out of the road.
Up in there and I'll take one with you in there. All right. You are.
Thank you. That was very nice. Moving on to my president's report. Last January, we began the new year by reading the consul's previous year's accomplishments. I would like to have consul's accomplishments for 2024 read into the record. Mr. Bioki, would you please take over?
Thank you, Madam President. The Borough Council has consistently demonstrated strong leadership and a commitment to the well-being of our community. Over the past year, we have achieved significant milestones, including enhancing public infrastructure, supporting local businesses, and expanding recreational opportunities. Through collaborative efforts, we have also made strides in improving public safety, fostering environmental sustainability, and investing in the future of our borough. These accomplishments reflect our dedication to building a prosperous and thriving community for all residents. Some of the accomplishments are as follows. First ever Pride's Picnic Celebration, creation of an Arts and Culture Advisory Council, speed humps installed at Bright, Ryan Glen, and Forest Hills Parks, speed humps installed on Fairfax Road, contracted with a grant writer and submitted grants that resulted in the award of over $1.2 million to fund a variety of infrastructure repairs, as well as parks and facility updates. This included $210,000 for the parks, $200,000 for a new leaf truck, $650,000 for pool improvements, and $160,500 for an inventory of all borough-owned trees, as well as tree maintenance and planting in Forest Hills Park. Promoted 2 police officers to rank of sergeant. Approved rezoning of the former senior center to accommodate a new dental prosthetic lab. Completed repair and remodeling of the Westinghouse Lodge and Recreation Center. In coordination with the Forest Hills Community Alliance, completed installation of the band shell at the Westinghouse Lodge and Recreation Center. Inaugural lighting of our new reusable panel Christmas tree. Completed a number of equipment upgrades at the Pool and Lodge concession area. Sanitary and storm sewer repairs and replacements throughout the borough. We paved 2 roads and 6 alleys. Installed fencing to improve child safety at Ryan Glen and Forest Woodland Parks. Began the process of moving to a digital tree City Times with the first edition published in January 2025. Purchased a new pressure washer for Public Works. Completed phase 1 of a 3-year environmental invasive plant removal experiment in Forest Hills Park. Finalized parking and traffic flow changes for Pacific and Wilkins Avenues. Hired a new borough manager. Hired a new Public Works foreman. Updated and adopted a number of ordinances and policies. Approved a new tree service contract. Upgraded borough financial software. Contracted with Turtle Creek Council of Governments for code enforcement services. Speed limit analysis of borough streets was completed. Updated speed limit signs with lower speed limits in most cases are being placed. New facility rental and class registration software implemented. Electric police vehicle charging station installed. Police equipment, including body cameras and in-vehicle printers, purchased. Collective bargaining agreement with the Forest Hills Police Association approved for 2025 through 2027. And finally, the borough was once again recognized as a banner community by the Allegheny League of Municipalities.
Thank you, everyone, for all your help in these achievements. Mayor Porco, may we have your mayor's report, please?
Madam President, can you guys hear me okay with the microphone? Everything working? Okay, great. First of all, just Happy New Year to all the residents, and just wanted to report on the holiday tour of lights. We had approximately 40 cars participate in the shocked at how many people show up for the event, but apparently it's become quite popular and people seem to really have a good time. So I just wanted to take a moment to thank some of the folks who were involved in helping make that happen. Councilman Bioki. the Forest Hills Police Department, Woodland Hills EMS, and the Forest Hills Volunteer Fire Department, as well as Santa Claus. All of them out and made that just a fun evening. And it was nice to see everybody with their houses decorated. And my hope is that more residents take pictures of their houses and submit them for consideration, because there was a ton of beautiful houses that weren't even involved in the contest who I thought could have easily won some sort of an award. And as always, congratulations to the winners. First, second, and third place winners are given a gift certificate for any business here in the. Typically, they choose a restaurant, but yeah, we give them like a. And then secondly, just wanted to take an opportunity to thank the Forest Hills Police Department and Woodland Hills EMS. I always say that we are extremely, I guess, lucky to have the public safety services we have. We oftentimes take it for granted. And I got to see it firsthand last week. My mom really needed an ambulance in the worst way last week. It was amazing to watch the Woodland Hills EMS paramedics and our police department just work hand in glove. I mean, it was effortless. It was seamless. Had her stabilized and off to the hospital in about 15 minutes. And it's pretty amazing to see it firsthand. And I've always felt that, it's human nature, right? We take it for granted until we need it. But then when you see it in action, I'm in awe. I was in awe. And, whatever we as a community can do in terms of either the subscription to Woodland Hills EMS, or as a borough council, whatever we can do to make contributions to the Woodland Hills EMS budget, it's money well spent, especially in service of that. That concludes my report. Thank you, Madam President.
Mayor Porco. Mr. Abrams, may we have the manager's report, please?
So my full report is on file, and council has it. I would just like to make a couple of notes in following up with President Martin and Mr. Baoki and the 2024 accomplishments, of which I am very proud to have been able to come in and help wrap a lot of those up. Just that I am equally excited, while some of these projects that we're going to do in 2025 may not necessarily be as visible. I think they're going to have significant impact. So I'm excited. We've got some new formats, some new things we're trying out. It's a fun time to be here. So I am glad to be helping to lead the way on that. And the other piece I have is the monthly tax report, which is actually the end of year report. We ended up bringing in 97.7% of what was budgeted. So we did come in under budget. But if you've continued to look at where, and we've talked about property taxes and the appeal rates at the county and things like that, our tax base, because of the appeals and the issues at the county and state, continue to decrease. Not favorable for running operations, but knowing that they do keep decreasing, and over this year was about $3 million from 2024 to the beginning of 2025, that we came in as close to budget as we did, is pretty remarkable, and pleased with the way we finished.
Thank you, Mr. Abrams. Chief Williams, may we have your report, please?
Thank you, President Martin. Well, welcome to winter, everyone. January 1st, and suddenly everything's a snowstorm. It's freezing out there, and I do get a little concerned about this kind of weather because people have issues this time of year with the snow. I understand it's going to be even colder next week, which is really something to look forward to as well. Fortunately, over the holiday season, however, though, we didn't really have a lot of issues, and I was very thrilled to see that happen. We had a few incidents that were not terrible, but not great. And again, I think as far as the community and all the help we get from them and the officers being out there in this not so great weather, I think everybody's able to do their job. We get the help we need from the community. And I just want to say it was a good last year, and I'm hoping for an even better this year. That's all I have.
Thank you very much, Chief Williams. Mayor Porco, are there any updates for the Forest Hills Community Alliance?
No, Madam President, no real updates since last month's meeting, outside of you noted it was noted in the year-end summary, but the ban shell project is complete. And we are hoping to have a kickoff of the ban shell sometime in the spring. We're targeting March or April with one of our first concerts. We're working on securing for our very first performance, and kind of like a grand opening or grand reveal of it. But the project actually came in on budget, which was phenomenal, and we're really excited about it. And we'll be meeting next week to discuss next steps and kind of revealing what the community feedback sessions yielded. So I'll have a better report for you in February. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor Porco. Mr. Corbel, may we have the solicitor's report?
Thank you, Madam President. I need a very short executive session with the council following the meeting today for information and legal advice on a very minor matter. And that's the end of my report.
Thank you, Mr. Corbel. May we have the Water Authority report, Mr. Abrams?
Yes, Ms. Braz reported there were 5 breaks last month on LeBeau Pike, Castlegate Road, Avenue A, Forest Glen Drive, Glasgow Road. All have been repaired. Avenue B still has an active leak in process. As of her reporting, I know that the Water Authority has been out there a couple of times over the course of this month already to repair it.
Thank you, Mr. Abrams. Moving on then to the other committee and board reports. Do you have anything, Mr. Bacon?
I do. From Connect, we have learned that the Electrify Allegheny project, which transformed into a group grant-seeking effort, has been successful. We should be hearing more details and more options to go forward for how that will be available to us for installing electric vehicle chargers, I think most likely in the Westinghouse Lodge lot. But it is a completely covered grant. So it is entirely good, free benefit for us as a borough. And that's my report.
Thank you, Mr. Bacon. Mr. Lawrence, do you have anything to report?
Nothing to report.
Thank you. Mr. Bioki?
Nothing to report this month.
Thank you. Mr. Erbaldinger, do you have anything to report?
Nothing to report.
Thank you. Then we will move on to the public comment session, where agenda and non-agenda items can be discussed. At this time, citizens may address council on any issue, whether appearing on today's agenda or not. Only residents and taxpayers of the Borough of Forest Hills will be permitted to address council. Speakers will be permitted to speak for a maximum of 5 minutes. Groups of people will be required to designate a spokesperson to represent them before council, who may speak for a maximum of 10 minutes. Citizens are asked to use the microphone at the speaker's stand, clearly state their name and address for the record, and keep comments brief and to the point. And please spell the name for the record. Speakers are reminded that council uses these comment periods as opportunities to gather information and not to respond directly to concerns raised. Information gathered will not be discussed at the business meeting, but instead will be referred by the council president to the appropriate committee for review and discussion at the next committee meeting. I do have Pat Harris up first, please, wanting to speak about the Birdtown program.
Hello.
Can you move the mic up, please? I know it's awkward. Thanks, Pat.
Pat Harris, H-A-R. So I'm really here tonight on behalf of the requesting to pursue a Birdtown design. The goal of the program is to increase the quality and quantity. It is similar to the Tree City designation that we currently have. Birdtown is a community conservation program, and it reflects community values and activities already in place. For initial steps, we establish a committee that can be accountable to, and that can be an EAC, and it is in many communities. Subject to the same approval process that four tiers with greater level of. We are allowed to include past accomplishments. So things that we are already doing, we would get points. Really a very seamless. Establishment of a tree committee and an EAC are also things that we would get points for. No, the usual format is not to give feedback, but at some point in the future, if you could let me know. I guess ask me now if that's allowed, but thank you.
Last thing, sorry, before you leave, can we get your address for the
Oh,
record?
sure. I'm sorry. I meant to do that. 316 Washington Road.
Thank you so much. Mr. Riley, I think you wanted to come up and speak.
Good evening, folks. Noah Riley, Noahriley. My address is 61 Avenue. Some of you may recall that a little over a year ago, myself and Deirdre were here a little preliminarily in support of our efforts to start down the block on Barclay Avenue. It should be coming up to, as I understand, the borough to approve our application potentially that the Allegheny County vacant lot. So we submitted that application last year. It's a long process and they're now coming back to you all for that approval. Just wanting to remind folks what we are doing and what we're about. We're interested in starting a community garden just down the block that will have edible fruits and vegetables, native plants and trees, very much in line with some of the work the EAC is doing and in line with the goals Hills Community Alliance that are occurring. I welcome folks to reach out to me. I'll happily provide my email if you have questions, comments, in the meantime.
Thank you so much. Anyone else? Okay, thank you. That will end public comment and we'll start the meeting. It's operations and policy, Mr. Lawrence.
Yes, thank you, Madam President. One, I ask for the approval, a motion to approve the minutes of December 18th, 2024.
Second.
Any comment? All in favor, say aye.
Aye. Motion to appoint Sarah Coffey to the Environmental Advisory Council for a term of 3 years expiring February 28th, 2028.
Second.
Thank you. Any comment? May we have a voice vote, please? All in favor, say aye.
Motion to accept the resignation of Councilperson Cecil Watkins effective January 20th, 2025.
Second.
Are there any comments?
Sorry to see him go.
I am too. Anyone else? May we have a voice vote, please? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion to authorize the manager to advertise a council vacancy seeking candidates to fill the term ending January 5, 2026.
Second. Thank you. Any comments? May we have a voice vote, please? All in favor, say aye.
Motion to approve the bylaws for the following: Tree and Shrub Advisory Council, Arts and Culture Advisory Council, Parks and Recreation Advisory Council, Planning Commission, and the Environmental Advisory Council.
Second.
Any comment? May we have a voice vote, please? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Thank you, Madam President. That concludes my report for the evening.
Thank you. Let's move on to finance, please. Mr. Erbeldinger.
Thank you, President Martin. I have approval of the December bills totaling $987,445.09.
Second.
May we have comments? May we have a voice vote, please? All in favor, say aye.
Aye. The next motion, approval of the invoices from Siemens in the amount of $25,318.94.
Second.
Comments? May we have a voice vote? All in favor, say aye.
Aye. My last motion, authorize the manager to advertise a hearing for public comment on the cable TV franchise renewal with Verizon Communications.
Second. Oops, sorry.
Is there any comments?
I would like the solicitor to explain a little bit for the audience what that means.
So we engaged through I believe it's through the COG, was it not, to have Mr. Cohen's law firm negotiate a franchise agreement with Verizon. And so prior to adoption of that agreement, we have to have a public hearing, which allows the members of the public to comment to council about any concerns they have with the agreement and or the services that Verizon is providing to borough residents.
Thank you.
Else? May we have a voice vote, please? All in favor, say aye.
Aye. And that concludes finance.
Thank you very much, Mr. Erbeldinger. Moving on to borough property, Mr. Bacon.
Thank you, Madam President. I move to approve the bid from Cronin Enterprises in the amount of $676,680 for work in accordance with LSSE contract 24-S1 funded by a LSA grant.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Any comments?
Yes. To explain to everyone, this is the STEPS grant. This covers the pretty much complete set of steps and ramps surrounding Coke Park. This also includes the cut through from Woodside to another part of Woodside that is heavily used by Woodland Hills students. And this also covers the removal of the deteriorating steps at Avenue A down to Ardmore. And it is entirely covered by these funds with potentially a small amount left over for additional construction should it remain after we're done with this project.
Anyone else? May we have a voice vote, please? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
I move to approve the bid from Swede Construction in the amount of $33,450 for work in the municipal building in accordance with LSSE contract 24-MB1, funded through the Borough Building Fund.
Second.
Any comments?
Yes, this is slightly modified. There's a base bid in add alternate number 2. The Borough Property Committee discussed this last night. We are removing the alternate that would have made the wall completely flush between the library and the annex next door to us right now. Just seeking to save some money and also maintain the symmetry within the room.
Anyone else? May we have a voice vote, please? All in favor, say aye.
Aye. And that concludes Borough Property.
Thank you, Mr. Bacon. Moving on to Public Works, Mr. Bacon.
Thank you. I move to approve the engineer to advertise the 2025 road paving program as presented.
Any comments? May we have a voice vote, please? All in favor, say aye.
Aye. That concludes Public Works. Thank you.
Thank you. Moving on to Public Safety, Mr. Bioki.
Thank you, President Martin. I move to approve ordinance 1125, instituting a drop as a condition of the 2025-2028 collective bargaining agreement with the Forest Hills Police Department.
Second.
Are there any comments?
Could you explain to the audience what a drop is?
Hoping you wouldn't ask that.
Maybe
It's-
Mr.
it's
Corbel would
actually-
be better.
It's a little complicated, but if Mr.
It is
Well,
short drop is short for deferred retirement option plan, which allows an officer to retire and then continue to work for up to 3 years, I believe, under this ordinance 3.
Yeah.
And during that time, the officer is, for purposes of the pension plan, retired, and the pension payments are then put into a separate account and they earn interest. And then the officer is permitted to leave at any time during those 3 years. And when the officer does so, they will receive the payments with interest and as a lump sum from the borough pension plan.
Thank you.
You're very welcome.
Any other comments? I knew somebody was going to ask that one. Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
That concludes public safety.
Thank you, Mr. Bioki. Is there any old business to discuss?
Actually, we all agreed on a schedule how we appoint the next council members. I wonder if you can maybe explain the process for the public. I know it's kind of hidden everywhere a little bit, but it would be nice to explain everyone. If you want.
Mr. Corbel? You're getting a lot of.
Right now,
late nights.
I just have to
You're
go back
working.
and look at my notes here as to do you have it handy, Seth? If you know it, because yeah, okay.
Thank you.
Because the process that council is following for this appointment is we are advertising through Savvy Citizen, through our website, and through the Valley Mirror for any interested candidates to submit their letter of interest and their resume to this office by the 28th of November, or 28th of January. At which point they'll be reviewed by council and candidates will be invited to make a short presentation at the February 4th council meeting, at which point council will then take in consideration all of the information and the presentations to make a decision, with the goal of having that person appointed and accepted and sworn in no later than the meeting on February 19th, which is the regular business meeting. Will also keep us in compliance with all of the laws regarding the amount of time that a vacancy can stand.
The vacancy can stand for 45 days?
30 days upon acceptance.
Oh, 30 days. Okay.
Comment. And that person if we would appoint someone, it's like I said in the ordinance, until January 5th, I think, 2026. But I guess if that person is interested to be more long-term, that person probably would also run for the regular primary and election this year. So it's kind of an appointment for 1 year, but it's probably likely that that person could run for election. Not, yes.
Maybe after 1 year, they don't want 4 more. Let's hope they do. I don't know.
Maybe after 1 month, they were like.
Anybody else? Comments? Mr.
I
Bacon?
would just like to encourage anybody interested in that. I'm sure that the majority, if not all of council, would be happy to answer any questions they have about just our experiences and day in the life sort of situation. Please feel free to seek any of us out. I think we'd be happy to assist someone making that decision, whether or not they are wanting to express interest. Thank you.
Okay. Anybody have new business? Okay, then I'm going to adjourn the meeting by acclamation without objection. Thank you.